All right. Really quick, folks. I ended up remembering this actually after I had um, finished recording for the book review here. But what I want to do is I brought this picture for you beginning in the beginning of this video to kind of talk about part of my gnosis that I forgot to mention during the first part of my recording. And you can see there, that's my right hand. And you see the cut there on the back of the hand there. That's when I was um, doing that was the weekend that I performed both the Shadow Companion ritual and the ritual of the Adversary. Um, Actually, I don't think that's the actual name of the ritual, but well, let's find out here. Uh, Invocation of the Adversary is the actual name of the ritual. Anyways, as I recall mentioning in the video that I done before, that a lot of shit happened that weekend. I had a lot of gnosis coming through, and fucking shadows at my door and shaking in my bed, and weird just poltergeist activity ended up happening for a couple days in my apartment. Um, which I again also forgot to mention that I did a couple banishing rituals, and it seems to have cleared up. So I haven't had any issues since then. Kind of grateful for that. Um, but this cut actually appeared on the back of my hand, and it was actually kind of funny because it's happened immediately. Like when I was done with the invocation of the adversary, like I noticed it on the back of my hand, and I showed it to one of my associates, and he said, "Oh, well, you just cut yourself like on the corner of your altar or something like that. You brush your hand on the corner of your altar, or um, you brush your hand against your ritual dagger or something like that." And I was like, "No, no." I was like, "I know that for a fact. I know for a fact it didn't happen because 90% of the ritual that I had when I was doing this ritual, I had my ritual dagger in my hand. I did have a diabetic lancet prepared in order to prick my finger in order to anoint the sigil that was used for that particular ritual for the invocation of the adversary. But I never ended up using it because I had just recently gotten out of the shower at that point before I had done the ritual, and I actually had a relatively fresh scab on my right leg, the inside of my right leg, on my calf, and I actually just pulled that off, and I had like a lot of fresh blood flow at that point. So I just figured, well, instead of pricking my finger, I'm just gonna go ahead and use this, and I basically anointed the sigil at that point with that blood, and I went into the invocation, and it's very interesting. Let me find part of the invocation here. Um, Towards the end of the invocation, it reads, "I call you Lucifer, the adversary. Invade my mind and my soul. Corrupt and defile me. And mark me forever with the sign of the dragon on my forehead, eternal seducer. Tempt me with the fruits of knowledge, for I am not afraid to taste them. Teach me the ways of creation and destruction, so that I may die and create myself anew as God incarnate. Okay, and then of course you have the closing there. In the name of the dragon, primal source of all creation, Ho Ophis, Ho Arceus, Ho Drakon, Ho Magas. Okay. At that point, as soon, okay, then you have a brief moment of meditation. As soon as I was done with my meditation at that point, which is just a couple of minutes, I opened my eyes and I set my dagger down. I closed out. I closed out the ritual, and immediately I noticed this cut on the back of my hand. And again, there's no way my dagger could have done it because it was in my hand to begin with. Okay, so unless if the blade of my dagger has like some god awful fucking superpower to like bend over backwards and slice it back in my hand that I'm not aware of, then it's that would be fucking cool. Kind of when I think about it, but it was there. I mean, I just noticed at that point this cut on the back of my hand, and so I showed it to again, and he thought that that's what it was. But then another associate, I shared this with through one of the online groups, one of the online forums that I belong to, and I don't know why I didn't think about it like at first. He goes, well, you know what it looks like? It looks like those like cuts or scrapes you get like from a briar patch. You go out, you want to pick some blueberries, you want to pick some blackberries out of a briar patch. You reach into the bush, to get like that sweet fruit, and you reach in and you pull it out and you get a scratch or two, but it's worth it because you now have that sweet tasty fruit. And then I thought to myself, I was like, well, and then I thought back to the invocation of of this particular situation, and it's just something that I was like, I wasn't expecting it, but by the same token, it kind of validates like my Gnosis experience that I've been having a lot, working with Lucifer, in this type of in these rituals and with this book. Um, if you experience things like this, it's probably going to freak you out at first, but understand that you're probably doing something right. Okay. Now, if I had looked at the back of my hand and I saw 3 scratches there, in a row, then I'd probably have a little more cause for concern at that point, because then it's like I'm probably not dealing with Lucifer at that point. I'm probably dealing with something more demonic at that point. Um, but this for me is kind of like confirmation. So you can either agree with me or you can not agree with me. You have the opportunity to disagree. That's totally fine. But why don't you go ahead and post your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Have you experienced something like this? Have you done any type of Gnosis work, a path working work with Lucifer or another gatekeeper or something like that, and you've experienced things like this, like immediately afterwards from doing a ritual with them, an invocation? Um, how did you react to it? Kind of share your experience with me. I would be very, very interested in that. So I just, again, wanted to go ahead and get this post out of the way. Again, I forgot to add it in there. I forgot to talk about it in the first video. So that video will actually be following this one. But just let me know what you think. And again, folks, I appreciate your time. And peace out, and I'll get the other video attached to this one in just a moment. Take care. Bye. All right, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back, my brothers and sisters, of course. Thank you for joining us today, or I should say me. This video has been a long time coming. I'm going to be doing a book review today, along with some additional Gnosis that I've been gathering these last couple weeks since my last Gnosis video regarding the Rites of Lucifer. I am coming to a close in that book. I actually have, I believe, 2 rituals left in the book. And they both take several days, so I'm definitely getting one done next week, right around the dark of the moon, and then the next one I will probably follow up probably later that weekend, like next weekend. Hopefully, I can get this. I'll get this book done. Um, it has been a very, very interesting past, I'm going to say 2 months. Before we go ahead and jump into that review, of course, again, I welcome you back. And if you are a subscriber to my channel already, I appreciate that very much. I know I have not been on lately. Um, and if you are brand new, I welcome you as well. Please subscribe to my channel if you are new to my channel. This is your first time coming here. There should be a small bell icon right here below the right hand corner of the screen. If you select that, you will be added to a list, and anytime that I put any new videos out onto my channel, you will be alerted to those, and you'll be able to go watch those when they are made public. I, of course, do encourage likes to my videos. If you like them, please give me a thumbs up and let me know what you liked about it, alright? If you find that there's something you didn't like, or uh, maybe there was like a technical issue, by all means, please let me know. I'll see about getting that corrected for future videos. And with that, I guess we're just going to go ahead and jump into the review. So again, the book review today is going to be on the Rites of Lucifer by Temple of Ascending Flame. And again, I'm going to cover some additional Gnosis here that I've been experiencing these last couple of weeks. I can definitely say that it's been a bit of a roller coaster for me. The last week, I experienced a workplace accident. Unfortunately, I had quite a number of near slip and falls. Where I work at, there's a lot of moisture. There's a lot of water on the floor, and I had been passing through like a number of doorways, and even though I wear non-slip boots, sometimes my feet get caught, like go through like a slick part of the puddle, and that's simply because I work in a food manufacturing plant. Okay, we manufacture things for chain restaurants, and so other things get mixed in with this water on the floor, oil, xanthan gum, different ingredients, and it makes like water on the floor very slick. So I had a couple near accidents where I had like a foot slip out from underneath me, and it kind of kinked me in the back a little bit. I didn't fall. I was able to grab onto something and catch my balance. But there was a couple times I was helping out in our spice room, and I happened to get like some xanthan gum on the bottom of my boot. I walked through a puddle of water without realizing it, and I slipped. And again, I was able to catch myself, but that was like the final straw that broke the camel's back for it. we'll say that little proverb. At that point, I really had like some serious back pain. Um, I was grateful that my lead actually assisted me and said, "Okay, look, I understand you're having a lot of back pain." And he worked with me for a couple days, and then finally I just said, I'm going to get this checked out, and because I know you're requiring me to do my job, regularly, like I'm supposed to be able to, and I was grateful that he had worked with me up to that point, but I had to go ahead and get some physical therapy done, and I reported the accident, and then got that physical therapy in there, and I am like without a doubt like 100% better. My biggest problem was getting out of like getting into bed. Like I had such excruciating pain anytime I tried to get into bed. Um, it was like just fucking killer pain in my back. It was horrible. Once I lay down, I was great. Um, but the big problem was I kept like popping like a leave, like two a leave every 5 hours, in order to try to get some relief, and put like heat patches on and stuff like that. But eventually, again, I got into physical therapy, and they were able to stretch all that out and work that out. And now I'm going to be going back to work. I do have one more tomorrow, and then they're supposed to release me so that I can go back to work Tuesday. So um, here's to getting back to work. Until that point, I was basically just hurting for like a lot, so I didn't get a lot done. Didn't get a lot done around the house. I'll be honest with you. I made sure my candle was burning, though. Of course, you gotta make sure that the prosperity candle is always burning as much as possible. So, to the book review. Rites of Lucifer, released back in 2014, again by Temple of Ascending Flame, and was edited by Asenath Mason as well. Sigil and artwork throughout the book is also done by Asenath Mason, and the book contains over 111 pages. And inside, you do find a series of rituals, a total of, I believe it's 7 or 9 rituals. We'll just take a look here real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rituals. Total of 9 rituals in the book. Um, they they can pretty much, they're all very doable within like 15-20 minute period. You can spend a little bit more time with each one, of course, depending on how much gnosis you're receiving during the ritual. I have a tendency to receive I have a tendency to receive like a huge rush of information when I uh, get my gnosis through Lucifer during the ritual, and then um, it just seems to be like a lot of dream work at that point. I lay down, go to sleep, and then I'm processing everything, and I'm getting like a lot of jumbles of images. My subconscious is trying to make sense of it all, and let's just say I've had some pretty weird shit happen in the last couple weeks. So, and I've had more things happen when I do multiple rituals in a weekend as opposed to like just one. Because that's what I ended up doing. The first 3 rituals I did, it's like I did a ritual, then I wait like 2 weeks, and then I would do another ritual. Um, you know, Depending on if it's conducive, of course, because they tell you to like perform like around um, the new moon or a full moon or like dark moon or whatever. And so, of course, I try to accommodate that as much as possible. So I find out when those moon phases are, and then I perform the ritual at that point. Um, so there was actually a break between like 2 rituals that I think for like 3 or 4 weeks. Excuse me. that I didn't do anything out of the book. Um, but I find that like I did one ritual, I believe it was a shadow companion ritual, on a Saturday, and then the immediately the next day I followed through with um, the rich, I believe it was the ritual of the Adversary, and I don't want to say that I necessarily had poltergeist activity in my place for like a couple days, but like some weird shit was actually happening. Um, and she advises in the book, particularly in that ritual, the shadow companion ritual. She says, well, don't be under, don't feel or like discouraged, like if he doesn't make an appearance during the ritual or something like that. As I understand it, or something similar to that effect. Um, and I really didn't take notice of that. Usually when I perform these rituals, um, I have a tendency to hold on to my altar like as much as possible, and the amount of power that kind of like flows through at that point is tremendous. It feels like everything is just distorted at that point. If that makes any kind of sense, you're just feeling like this tremendous, like waves of power, like flowing through the altar and up my arms, and I'm like I said, I'm just getting like waves and waves of energy coming through, and I almost felt like I was gonna pass out at one point. And then the following day, again, I did the ritual of the Adversary, and I forget what it was. I was like sitting here at my computer. I was doing something, and I swear it was like somebody was like right behind me, and they whispered my name, like they were like right here, and it like just scared the piss out of me. Because I hadn't had that experience in a while. And then that night, I was sleeping, and for most of you who know, I sleep out here in my living room because my ritual chamber is my bedroom, and so I try to keep that. I don't want people walking into my ritual chamber. As they walk into my place. Not that I have a lot of visitors, anyways. But here I am sleeping, and you have those nights, where you kind of like sleep, and you feel like you're awake and you're staring at the wall or the ceiling or whatever. I just happen to be like kind of like staring, facing off, kind of like in that direction, and then I shifted my head like slightly, and I was looking at my door here to my apartment. I was looking at the main entry door, and there was an actual dark figure, like uh, well, I can't say figure. It was more like a black mass, really, but you could tell that it was roughly like the height of the door, and it was kind of large, but it was there, and I acknowledged it, and I looked at it, and I said, "Who's there?" You know, and I had a couple times that night where um, my bed had been shook to jar me awake. I don't know. I don't know if that was the purpose of that, but that was kind of an odd night. Um, I had a dream that night. There's a couple dreams that night, but one that like really stuck with me was, um, and I I couldn't figure it out why. I can't remember like any sound or anything that was being said or anything like that. But um, I kind of wondered like why. I was like I had a dream of like lots and lots of snakes, and I was just kind of like, okay, well, I forget the actual meaning of snakes, particularly garter snakes. Okay, that's what I remember them looking like. They were relatively harmless. I didn't like pick one up. It didn't bite me or anything like that. But there were just like hundreds of them to begin with. And I looked it up at some point. What the meaning of garter snakes in dreams, and I don't remember what it was. Um, but that was just a very interesting night. Uh, I've had additional things happen, and a lot of them just seem to escape me at this point. But regarding the book, um, even though I still have two rituals left, and yes, like I said, I'll be getting those done here between the I think starting the 19th, because I need to start that ritual um, the day before the dark of the moon, and then it goes for 3 nights, and then I have like one more ritual after that. So that I'll do that weekend as well. So hopefully somewhere around um, like the 25th or 26th, I'll probably be done with the rituals, and then I'll be proceeding to Awakening Lucifer by Asenath Mason and Bill Duvendack. This is the follow up book to this one. Yeah. Um, should you get Rites of Lucifer? Well, obviously, I don't know. I would say yes. If you're looking to want to get some path working done, and you're wanting to really understand more about yourself, as well as take in some of the Luciferian current and draconian current energy as well. I mean, I would recommend it. There are, of course, other gatekeepers you can work with. Lucifer is a gatekeeper, a demonic gatekeeper, by the way. For those of you who are not aware, if you go to bald.co, becomealiving god.co, and you check out EA Colliding's work, um, they do have the demonic gatekeepers books that you can get. You can actually get those now on Amazon.com. Um, I believe they're like around 69, 65, $69 a piece, and you can get them all the way up through Beelzebub. I think is the one that is the last one that they released. Right now, my understanding is that they are still producing information on the demonic gatekeeper book for Satan, and that apparently, to my knowledge of from like checking out with the Bulg.co site, as well as um, watching EA Quenning's videos. I think they're talking like September sometime is when they're expecting a release of that book. And if you don't want the extra material that EA Coeding puts out with his stuff, like the pathworking information, and I know his books can be kind of expensive because I know they put out with things like cloth and genuine leather bound and stuff like that. But if that's something that you're into, by all means, if you could drop the extra money, to get the extra things and to get like a nice, you know, leather bound book, and get the path working information and all that to go ahead and get everything done. by all means, if you could drop $200, drop $200. Um, or I think even for some of them, it might be even like $300. But if it's not, I mean, obviously, like I said, you can go and get those books at Amazon.com. Um, if that works out for you. Now, this is the first pathworking material I've done with Lucifer, so I have not done any of the pathworking work through like any of the Bog.co books. I would very much like to, and I just haven't had the opportunity to go ahead and do something like that again. Right now, I'm not doing a lot of purchasing with books. I've got a stack of books like this freaking tall that I'm like trying to read, and it's like once I get done with between doing these two books that I have here, the Awakening Lucifer and the Rites of Lucifer, um, I have like three books from Michael Kelly that I'm trying to work in there, and a couple other ones. So um, I'm not really buying books at this point. It's like I'm just trying to go get through like the stack of fucking books that I have right now, before I go ahead and buy anything else. Um, so, and plus with the economy out there, it's just not conducive to go ahead and be spending money frivolously when you don't have to. So again, I recommend it, of course. If it's something that's up your alley. If you don't want to work with Lucifer, of course, by all means, you don't have to go ahead and you don't have to work with them. Um, but let's just say that if you do decide to, and you make contact, like in the beginning, like I did, and he was telling me that I had to change my image, I had to change is coming. I had to get ready for change. Don't take that lightly, okay? Because from my experience, now that I've gone through a part of this, if you have a demonic gatekeeper telling you change is coming, you have to change, and they're trying to tell you that you need to do it for a good reason, you need to. I would suggest that you make every effort to try to make the change as much as you possibly can. Because if you don't, I guarantee you at some point shit's gonna happen, and you're gonna feel like your life just got flipped on like you just slipped and fell on your fucking ass, and then you're gonna be like, what the fuck? I don't understand what the hell is going on. Why does it feel like my life is in turmoil? And it's really not. It's just a matter of them saying it's like they know what it is that you want. They know. Like when I made contact with Lucifer, he told me straight up. He's like, yeah, I know what you want. I know what type of lifestyle you're wanting. I know what your desires are. He knew all those things about me. I'm not going to go ahead and mention like any of them right at this point, but he knew what I was looking for in my life. He knew that I was like wanting to grow and I was wanting to change. But what the problem is that when we say that we want something, some of us, the average person really doesn't know how to do it. Okay, and that's the problem. When you get like Joe Schmo down the fucking road, and he says that he wants to be a fucking business owner, but he hasn't you know finished school or whatever, but he has no idea like how to run a business or what he even needs to start doing. Most people will just like eventually give up. Either they'll have someone who tells them, "Hey, you can't do that because you're not educated enough," and then they'll listen to it and they'll say, "Yeah, probably a good idea." Then they'll get a fucking job at down at McDonald's and then slave away for somebody else for the rest of their fucking life. Or some people will actually struggle through it, and some will be successful at it. Most won't, but you'll get a couple that'll be successful at what it is that they wanted to do, and then that'll be great. And then the majority of the people will just be like a regular 9 to 5 people. But the problem is that when you say that you want something and it's so bad, and you can't do it in your present situation because you have to grow, you have to change, and for most of us, again, we don't know how that is. So in order to get there, you do path, you would do path working work, and then at this point, um, they're not going to, Lucifer or any other gatekeeper, they're not going to just like hand it to you. You're going to have to fucking work at it. You're going to be put in such a situation that you have no choice but to go out and make it work for you, because if you don't, then like that's it. You're probably just gonna like fucking commit suicide or something like that at that point. Like you'll have no fucking choice but to go ahead and do it. But the problem is, like I said, is you can't do it with the same mentality that you have. You have to grow along the way, and that's what pathworking does. That's one of the things that pathworking does, is that it helps you grow as an individual. It helps you get ready for that change and for that experience. And it's just like constantly, like all the time, like working. And we've all heard the saying from Albert Einstein. Insanity is, the definition of insanity: doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, and then but nothing changes, and that's true with most people in society. Is they say that they want change, but they don't know how to do it, and they keep trying to do shit over and over in the same way, and they don't understand why they're not succeeding. Um, because they're not grasping the idea behind it. So I've been like wanting to, for instance, do like more work, more side work for myself in order to bring in extra money. Because right now, even though I still have a job, and I still get my 40 hours a week and stuff like that, um, with the economy that the way it is, we can't really rely on, you can't rely on people. We can't rely on government. I can tell you right now, if my job decided to go like under, if the company I work for decided, like started to go under, they would just cut people at that point, and they wouldn't give a shit. They wouldn't fucking care that there's 30 million people out there who have no fucking jobs right now. They'd be like, well, just go on and, good luck. They wouldn't fucking care. And you and I know we can't turn the government. It's not like, we live in the fucking United States. Here, it's not like Australia or England, where it's like, okay, well, you need to be in lockdown for 3 months for COVID-19. Um, so your employer is going to pay like 65% of your wages for you. And then, Parliament's going to pay the other 35% of your wages. So you can stay home. You're going to keep getting money because, you live in Australia, or you live in England, and, we're just fucking cool like that. But, people who live in the U.S., our government doesn't fucking do shit. You got more people on Capitol Hill that are worried that about the money not going into their pocket right now, as opposed to whatever else. Our politicians are not in it to serve the people like they're supposed to be. They're in it financially for themselves, and they're just like a bunch of fucking dicks. So Um, sorry, I try not to get like on a political spree there, but it is what it is. Um, so yeah, uh, again, a very interesting book. I've had a lot of ups and downs, and I'm not saying that regarding the idea of my slip or my accident or anything that like being a result of anything that Lucifer may have done or may have set into motion, but um, little things like that, it definitely does get you thinking about what what you're doing and why you're doing it, and do you want to continue doing it? Is it gonna take you where you want to be, where you want to go in the next 5 years? And if not, then what are you gonna change? When, what are you gonna change, and when are you gonna change it? So, and then how are you gonna change it? And if you're having problems trying to figure that out, Doctor Lucifer, he'll kind of like give you an ultimatum, and then if you haven't figured it out, like he'll change it for you, and then you'll have no choice but that at that point, other than to be like, oh shit, I've got to I've got to do something about this. Um, am I pissed about it? No, 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 I'm not. I'm not pissed about it at all. You have to remember that the demonic gatekeepers, if you're doing path working with them, they're here because they have a obviously they have a plan. Obviously, they have an agenda, but they're also here to like teach us and to get us to grow. This is part of our need for ascension, or our as some people term it, apotheosis, or our godhood. Um, it's we need to experience this type of stuff in order to be able to grow, and not just spiritually, but I mean just to and not just to expand our mind spiritually, but in order to ascend as well, to become better, to become a better person tomorrow than what we were today, if that makes any sense. So, Rites of Lucifer by Temple of Ascending Flame is available at Amazon.com. If I get any more Gnosis come through, like after I perform these last two rituals over these next couple weeks, I'll definitely see about getting that information up into a video and get that uploaded for everyone. Um, as soon as I'm done with that book, I'm going to be heading into Awakening Lucifer and getting information done there. I'll see about trying to get some other videos out, being that I have physical therapy tomorrow, my last day of physical therapy. I'll probably be able to do at least one video tomorrow, uh, for the channel. It'll probably be like a back to basics video. I'll probably see about doing one like on trance work, or like another one on energy manipulation or something. Um, until then, folks, I do appreciate you stopping by. And again, this is available at Amazon.com. I want to say that it's $20, $21, something like that. Um, I do not believe that there is a Kindle version of this, unfortunately. Um, but you'd have to check that out in order to see. Contributing authors to the material in this include Asenath Mason, of course, as well as Reverend Bill Duvendack, Edgar Kerval, and Parika Eva Borowska, Damon Barzay, and I do apologize if I'm like hacking these names up, folks. I don't mean to. And finally, Christian Velasco. Those are contributing authors, as well as they did use some information from the Temple's archives in order to fill in some of the rituals and whatnot. So check it out if you think that it's up your alley. I do encourage you to go ahead and do that. If not, no harm, no foul. I'm sure that something else will come your way and will capture your interest. Until then, folks, I do appreciate you coming and stopping by. Again, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Again, that little bell icon right here below the right-hand corner. Thumbs up to the video if you liked it. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. I'll see about getting those answered in a timely manner. And until then, folks, my brothers and sisters, peace, infernal blessings to everyone. Take care.